You know, there is this belief that when a man makes money, he looks for a woman to take care of. But when a woman becomes rich, he doesn't need a man. Why is it that way? The temptation for women to become independent minded when they are successful is very, very high. The culture that people have is that a woman should live under a man. A woman should subject herself under a man. A woman must have a man as her head. So, wealth gives you the independence and liberty to do things for yourself. Why do you come under a man? A woman needs protection. Wealth can provide you protection, so you don't need a man. Wealth gives you prestige. It gives you power. And most of this power that wealth has given you are whittled down when you get married. Because when you get married, you must submit to the control of a man. And with the arrogance that wealth has bequeathed upon you, no lady will want to accommodate that anymore in their lifestyle. So it becomes difficult for them to need a man when they have money with which to do and get anything that they so desire. So, how do you solve that problem? What are the options and what are the dangers? The danger is that, particularly for those that are not married, when a woman comes buying money when she's not married, it becomes harder to attract her mate. In a developing economy like Nigeria, where most people are not doing well, when a woman is wealthy, the propensity to attract her mate becomes more difficult. Why is that? Your mate is not likely to have the kind of money that you have. And where you find somebody that have the kind of money that you have, he will not want you, because he doesn't want anybody to compete with him. He doesn't want anybody to feel equal with him. He doesn't want anybody that will be difficult for him to relate with, because he's independent financially, so he doesn't need him much for anything. So how can your wealth be a disadvantage to you? It will be a disadvantage if you have the wrong mentality and the wrong mindset. I have a friend who is outgrowing marriageable age. And for the past 10 years that I've known her, she has been looking for a husband and she can't attract any man. I advised her almost 7 years ago. I said, you have to be willing to date somebody who is not doing as well as you're doing. Calm down, relate with this person, and brush him up. You can motivate him to work harder and come to your level, instead of you feeling that you cannot step low to marry at a lower level. You keep on relating with people at a higher class, and most of these people at a higher class for which you feel that you belong are married. They can't marry you. So she has built an impression in her mind that I am up here in this class. I cannot stoop low to marry anybody who is beneath me. She lives in a particular neighborhood that is relatively elite, and she wouldn't want to marry somebody and move to a neighborhood that is not as good as where she lives. So she has difficulty attracting people that fits into her model, that fit into her mold. Those that she desires, the class that she desires, she's not able to attract them. And those that desires her, she doesn't want to give them any chance, any attention of them winning her love. And the reality is that she is there without a husband. And now she is approaching her 40s, if not overshooting 40s as we speak, and nobody. And she is agonizing. She is agonizing the fact that she doesn't have a husband. She desires to get married, but she couldn't find anybody. Even when she is a Christian, even when she dedicates almost all her time to church and church activities, she can't still attract a mate. I have sat her down, talked to her. In the process of telling her what I know to be the bitter truth, she started crying. But that does not make her to take my advice. So, forget about what you think you have achieved. Forget about what you feel that you have. When a young graduate is approaching you and he doesn't have your kind of furniture, he doesn't have your kind of apartment, but he loves you, give that person a chance and nurture him to come to your standard. She doesn't want that. She wants a ready-made man who has the apartment, who has the car and the money to take care of her. And that has not happened in the last 10, 15 years that I know that she's due for marriage. And such a woman will watch herself grow into menopause. And she can't be married. And by the time these realities begin to dawn on her, she will find a person, a man, to impose herself on. And maybe when they got married and start struggling to have children, they start going to IVF or all manner of things, or they may even end up being childless. So, but when she has the opportunity to be reasonable, calm down your high horse and date somebody who you may feel that you are better than. Respect that person, nurture that person, honor that person, and then you will have a happy life. You have opportunity to be married, have opportunity to have children and be fulfilled, have that sense of fulfillment like you see in your mates and in your colleagues. She doesn't want to take that advice. So the question then is, why is it that when a man becomes rich, he will need a woman to take care of? But when a woman becomes rich and well-to-do, she doesn't need a man. Until probably when it is late and disadvantage for her. It's something that I want most ladies to think about. There's nothing in life like humility. Those that get it appropriately are those that have everything. Fortune has favored them. And they see themselves as if those things, they don't have it. Because they want to be humble, they want to be simple, and they want to be modest. But the moment that wealth gets into your head, the moment you become too conscious of your rich family, too conscious of your rich father, too conscious of your background, you cannot carry your father's homestead to your husband's house. Such a relationship cannot work. So, if you don't realize these things, you may realize them when situation has started working to your disadvantage. It's not everybody who is single at old age that desires it. Even statistics have said that in some communities, in some countries, almost 60% of women cannot find husband. Even when they want to get married, it's not possible for them to attract a husband. 60%. So that's something that can give you idea. And for you to begin to adjust your life. By the time you are 25, you ought to be married. By the time you are 27, by the time you are 30 years, you ought to be married. Otherwise, you are working and putting yourself at a disadvantage. Because more and more prettier and younger people are coming behind you. I have experience of a friend. We met and I knew him way back in the university. So I was in a city and he came to that city to do some stuff. So he settled down there. So before you know it, I saw him with a woman that I know very well in the church. The woman is old. She's old. It's not proper for a 25-year-old man to introduce a 45-year-old woman to the mother that he wants to get married. No parents will support that. But they fell in love. So I was shocked and surprised. So when he introduced the woman to me, I welcomed the woman. I already know her. So I took her to a particular room. I asked him to pinch himself. Are you sure you are doing this thing with clear eyes? Do you know what you're doing? He said, no. I said, do you realize the fact that this woman is way older than you? He said, no, I know and I like her. And if she can give me one conception, I'm okay with that. So I have doubts. So, but soon after that period, I left that city. And the next time I was visiting that city, I saw the woman, and the woman lamented with bitterness. She was shedding tears as she was talking to me. She said, Ucheka, if you were around, your friend would not have betrayed me. But I know that marriage, that relationship cannot work out because the age difference between them is so obvious. So when I saw my friend, I asked him what happened. He said that one day he decided to insist and follow her to where she lives. She has been the one coming to him. So he insisted on going to know where she lives. She was dodging it for a long time. She was dodging it. But this day, he insisted. And when she reluctantly took him to her residence, she opened the door. He said, even a rat will not want to leave. We don't want to stay there. So she is the type that does her business outside. She has a shop where she runs her business. So early in the morning, she will leave home. So she doesn't have that capacity to pay attention to keep her home neat. That was when my friend made up his mind that this person cannot make a proper home and decided to dump her, and she cried. So that may be an aside, but then when you are rich, when fortune favors you as a woman, be humble so that you can attract a mate and be happy when you get married. Thank you.